Hi everyone, this is a Vissim video today and it is about Refuge Islands or Central Islands. It is a small place in the middle of the road where pedestrians can have a bit of safety. So they can cross only one carriageway at a time. They can have some like a little area there where they can wait and they can cross the other carriageway. There are two versions of this. One that comes with zebra crossings, so where pedestrians have right of way. And there is another one that you can see on the screen where there is no pedestrians don't have right of way. The other one is with the zebra and one without the zebra. So in Vissim, how would you do that? So first you need to place your road and you create, just placing a connector, you can create like a curvature, or if your road already has that kind of distance, you can just have it like that. Or if you have the curvature, you can just have it like that. You can create these connectors easily. So if I remove one, you can just get Vissim to calculate it for you. So you create the connector like that. You can place an intermediate point by holding Ctrl and doing right click. Then you move it up as much as you need. And then there is a generate spline if you right click on that connector, and you can put a relatively high number, let's say 8. And you need to make sure that keep current intermediate points. So by this, Vissim will recalculate the spline between these. So it can create like that. And again, if you don't need these, you can just create the roads as I showed before, and just you can use the recalculate spline, and then you can just create that the way you want. So in my example, I will assume that there is a like a curvature in the road where vehicle need to slow down anyway. In some countries, it is like that. In some or in some situations, it's not. This is more difficult to do, so that's why that's the reason I show you this one. In new Vissim versions, I think after 23, but in the last few versions, basically, they introduced a new way to deal with reduced speed areas. So if you go to base data, network settings, and go to vehicle behavior, and if you tick this option, speed limitation in curves, then Vissim will automatically slow vehicles down when there is a curve here. So you don't need to do anything. If you do it in an old Vissim version, just make sure that you place a speed reduced area and you set here right click add, and for cars, heavy vehicles, and all kinds of vehicle classes you just apply a reduction in speed, or you apply like a new desired speed distribution for that area, and Vissim will slow vehicles down before they arrive. Okay, and of course, if you have like something like this, where you don't have a curvature, then you obviously don't need to slow vehicles down. If they slow down, you can also apply a reduced speed area in a new Vissim version here to make sure that vehicles slow down a bit. So if you have a speed limit of 50, you can apply 40, for example, or 30, just to model some kind of slowdown. So that's done. What you need to do then is you create, so I assume that you want to model pedestrians in high detail. So I will say like smart pedestrians. You can also model pedestrians like in a less smart way as just vehicles. So they just you just use normal links. I will link an old video in the description. You can check different ways to model pedestrians. So you can understand the impact. Just when you model pedestrians like this, you need to make sure that you check your license in the help menu, that you have the pedestrian or this walk module included and at least maybe 10 or 20 pedestrians in your license, so you can actually model it like that. When you use smart pedestrians and areas, you need to understand that if you have an area going over a link or a vehicle, over vehicle areas, so like links or connectors, then they are not going to see vehicles, not going to see pedestrians, and you can't really set a conflict rule between them. So what you need to do is you need to create links. So as you can see, there is an area here, an area there, and an area here. So these green two areas that I place using this yellow icon area. So you just place an area like this, and you just OK it, and you can place pedestrian input on them, and then you can just add how many pedestrians you want. So that's fine, but you can't place an area like that because pedestrians, smart pedestrians, need an area to walk, so they can't use links or connectors to walk across. And as you can see, I modeled this island section with an area as well. So what you need to do is you need to create a link. Just place a link like that, and you set the width to like relatively big, let's say 7 meters, and you go to the pedestrian area tab, and you select is pedestrian area. This way, it will be converted to like a special link that's also a pedestrian area in the same time, and it has like 2 directions. So if you want to place something on it, you can see that it has both directions. As you can see, it goes southbound or towards the bottom. But if I hold this stop sign, for example, and I click tab, it places it on the other direction. So it is a link that has like 2 directions. It is very useful also when you want to model signals. I might do a video about that later. So you need to place a link that overlaps with the area here and also overlaps with the area down here, so pedestrians can move along. It is also important that you use pedestrian route from this area to that and from this area to that. So as you can see, I place an area, you place the start point there and you place the end point here. And then you place a start point here and the end point on the other one. It doesn't matter where you place it, just make sure that it is on it. You don't really need to set any intermediate point or anything. Pedestrians will find a way across. So I just delete this because I already had 2. And you don't need to do anything else. Just make sure that you have a pedestrian input here and there. So you basically have pedestrians on each side. And then you use a static route between the 2 areas so pedestrians know where to go. Then, if you select conflict areas, you can see that since it is a link and this is a connector, Vissim shows you can set a conflict. So this way. So if I set it this way, that means it is a crossing that has no zebra or pedestrians don't have right of way. If pedestrians have right of way, so if it is a zebra like that, then you change this and you set it like that. Like that. So the pedestrian is green and the car is red. I also placed vehicle inputs for cars like that. And I didn't, you're also supposed to have like vehicle routes, but you can skip it in this way because there is no other connector. So vehicles just pick the shortest connector. But if you of course have a proper network, then you have like static routes like that. Or if you have if you model your traffic with matrices, then obviously you don't have static routes. So this is the way you need to set it up. And then if I just play it, You can see pedestrians arrive. Of course, the scale is probably too big, this center island, but you can just set it up the way you want. So pedestrian cross, cars come, cars slow down automatically, as you can see, and they also give way in this case. And let's just see, so as you can see, cars give way. And if you change it back, your conflict to make sure that you select conflict area. So you can do it like this, and this way pedestrians will give way. So let me just show you that. Yeah, like that. And again, you can just set up your road width and the size of these areas and the size of your the width of the crossing as needed. Probably it needs to be less than 7 meters, so it's or 6 meters. It's probably like, I don't know, 2 meters. In the UK, or you can also stagger these. So if you want to stagger the crossing, so let me just show you that quickly. So like that. Then you have this area, and you can just create like a staggered crossing like that. You can also make this area bigger or wider. I just quickly right click on these, recalculate the spline. So this way, of course, you can also like fine tune it. So like you put it there. You can do it like that. You can add intermediate points by control right click like that. And if pedestrians have right of way, then you select your conflict like that. And it works like a charm. You can of course make this wider, as wide as you want, and it will work. Just make sure that you check the other video I link, and if you have any questions, just let me know. And also let me say a quick thank you if you support me on Patreon or on YouTube as a paying member, or if you just if you don't want to do that, just please make sure that you give a like or a comment. That is something YouTube algorithm like a lot. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one.